Hi, my name is Kamoya Benjamin, and welcome to today's episode of Reinvention Made Simple Daily. My purpose in these episodes is to help you master your brilliance, manifest that brilliance, and monetize it. Get paid for what is deposited within you as gifts, as greatness. I call it brilliance. And the reinvention conversation is ideally about more. It's about creating more. I believe that we are spirit beings and we've been gifted with an intellect and we move in a physical body. And there's a part of us that really bears blueprints of our greatness, of the more that is possible for us and through us. And that part of us that is spirit is always seeking fuller expression, fuller expansion. What happens to your hair when you cut it? It grows again. What happens to the grass when you cut it? It grows again. It never says, oh, they never want me on this lawn. I'm never going to grow. What happens? Seeds grow through the cracks. There is spirit, within us. And that spirit bears the blueprints of our greatness, and it seeks fuller expression and fuller expansion of our capacity and our potential. And the reinvention journey is about really, developing the skill set and developing the mindset to become the person who's able to do more so that you can have more. And that is the fullest expression as God has created and designed us, really to have dominion if you think about it. And I'm excited to be your reinvention coach. And today, I want us to talk about a topic that's really close to my heart, and it's called, Who Are You? Harnessing the power of your identity. In my reinvention journey, I have discovered the power of this thing called identity. And I want to invite you to join me, not only today to explore this topic, but also on my mentorship call that's coming up to really understand it. One of the things that I want to share with you, which is really powerful, is, did you know the unseen force that is holding the chisel and the mallet that is sculpting your future? This power has been at play. Do you know what that power is? If you don't, I want you to join me right now, because Reinvention Made Simple Daily is starting right now. Here's the question. When people ask you, who are you? How do you respond? And I know, you'll probably say, I respond and say, my name is James, my name is Peter. I get that. That's just your label. That's how we know you as. But there's a part of you that knows you, and you know yourself. When you ask yourself, who are you? I don't think you say, my name is Mary or Michael or Peter or James or Jane. No, that's a label. I get it. And there are hundreds of lenses and aspects through which we can, derive our identity. If you go to a restaurant and, you are a vegan, you identify in that way. If you go, in a crowd of people and they say all the men to the left, all the ladies to the right, that's another aspect of identity. And that's not what I want us to talk about. Hey, this is a reinvention conversation. It's about embracing the future possibilities that are possible for you. And so the purpose of this call is to explore briefly the power of identity, your identity. My invitation for you is this, is to interrogate and look at the aspects governing the identity that you take on and how that identity is creating or sabotaging your reality. That is my invitation for the next few minutes that you and I are going to be together. I won't be long. But I remember one ordinary night. I was 8 years old. My mom and I were sitting in our small house and we were in the kitchen. In between us was a pot of bean stew that was, cooking for the night. And this was like any other night. My mom would sit and she would cook. She'd ask me, pass me the sugar, pass me the salt, pass me this, pass me the other. And that was our dinner for that night. And we were just chatting. It was another good night. Boy and mother having conversations. And I remember this night because it really was a defining moment. And in the midst of our hearty conversation, she just changed her tone. And with a stern look, the voice quivering, she said, Ben, wait to a modo. I'm there. Pregnant pause continues. She repeated, wait to a modo, wait to a modo. That loosely translated means make yourself someone. I was frozen in the seat because I knew that tone and it signified attention, alarm, trouble. At 8 years old, I was a unique blend of curiosity, mischief, and hyper. So I was looking through the day and wondering, is there something I didn't do? What did I do? Did I just pass her the salt in the wrong way? My mom is the kind of people who, if you're handing her a knife and you did something wrong and she never got an opportunity to smack you, she's catching the knife, she's getting the knife from you and she's spanking you with the knife right there. I'm like, you're gonna cut my hand. That's my mom. Some of the mothers in that generation. And so I'm looking through my day and I'm thinking, what exactly is she referring to? Is there something I did? And that night as I lay on my bed, I'm thinking about what mom said. And I thought she was talking about the quality of man that she wanted me to become in future. And that night I asked myself, where's someone so that I can be there? That began my identity conversation. And I didn't understand it then the way I'm telling it to you now. But as I've gone on in my reinvention journey, I have had to contend with this question in different seasons. This someone, who is someone? It's an identity question. I faced it as an employee. When I was starting a business and there were so many challenges, there were opportunities ahead of me, I faced the question. Every time I would meet powerful individuals in my line of work, I would question, who am I? Approaching my wife for our first date, who am I? Am I someone that she wants to be with? Marriage life, am I someone? As a father, as a coach, literally every season, I have had to ask myself, who am I? And that question of identity is so powerful because it is what makes you you. And that's the question I'm asking you. What makes you you? When you ask yourself, who am I? What response do you give? That's what I want you to interrogate. Because see, we are created by a creative God to create. And for as long as you and I are breathing, we are always creating. We're either creating by design or we're creating by default. Either way, we're creating. Like the seeds that fall on the ground and they just grow and germinate. You can plow your farm and it's going to be organized, or it can just grow haywire. We are always creating by design or by default. And so identity plays a big role in how you create. It determines whether you create by design or you create by default. The power of identity is understated, and I want to invite you to interrogate. That's my message right now. Interrogate exactly what is the identity that I have of myself. When I ask myself, who am I? Forget about what other people ask you. When you ask yourself, who am I? What answer do you give yourself? And while definitions abound for identity, I like this simple definition. Identity is who you think you are. Whether that is right, whether that is true, that's something else. It's just who you think you are. And you see, we're sitting at a moment in time. We're sitting here today. Is that okay? We're sitting right here today. This is where we are, you and I. We're watching this video. It's where we are today. This is the present. Okay? And before us was the past. And this is you living in the past up until where we are today here. And there is you wanting to live in the future. Wanting to live in the future. And so if I ask you, who are you right now? You're going to give me an answer based on here where you are right now. But what data are you leaning on? You're definitely leaning on data from the past. That's the data that you're leaning on. Past you, if I may call them that. Past you. And this is really a big part of what makes up your identity. If I ask you, who are you? You're not telling me who are you based on where you are right now. You're telling me based on the past, based on the events, circumstances, experiences, where you grew up. And you tell me I am. And I don't want us to think about what other people you're going to tell them. I want you to think about what you're going to tell yourself. What do you think of, and when you, how do you answer yourself when you say, this is me, this is who I am? What answer do you give yourself? Because that answer has a lot of power. It determines more than you actually are aware of. It holds the power. It dictates how the future is going to unfold. You see, identity is the unseen hand, and I've just shared with you this image at the beginning. Identity is the unseen hand that holds the chisel with which you sculpt your life. It holds the chisel It wields so much power. It is in control. It is in charge. And until you understand it, oh my goodness, the power that it has. Have I not seen this? Have I not seen it? How many coaching sessions later? Maybe 4,000 or something? The power that identity holds is immense. And if you understand that power, you'll be able to harness it and control it to create the future that you want. Let me give you a few examples of what exactly identity controls. Number one, your fears are determined and driven by your identity. Your self-image, which really governs your confidence, self-esteem, how you show up, is governed by your identity. The opportunities that you pursue and those that you shy away from are governed by your identity. Your purpose, what you believe your reason for being here on earth is all about, why you're alive, what it is that you want to do, what your legacy is going to be, is governed by your identity. Where you live, who you date, who you marry, all this are governed by your identity. How you spend your money. Just imagine the power of this unseen force. The choices that you make, yes. The dreams that you pursue, yes. The jobs that you apply for and those you don't apply for. Identity has a lot of power, and though unseen, when you examine your life, you will begin to see patterns in your results. Let me tell you what, there's already a lot of data in your past. When you look at the patterns and the seasons of your life, what we call cycles and seasons of life. Have you ever heard people say, "Man, it feels like I'm running around in circles"? It's not circles, it's cycles, C with Y. And it's because there's an identity, this almost self-fulfilling prophecy that governs what you do and how you do it. And so if you examine your life, and this is something that I guide my private coaching clients through, is to really understand the patterns that have created the results that they have had up until now. Those patterns can be seen in your results, in your failures, in your misfortunes. All of that is governed by identity. That's the power I want you to understand. That's the power that I want you to uncover. That's the identity that I want you to articulate. I want to help you master your identity. I'm having a call this month to dive deeper into this topic and help you understand the foundations of the building blocks of your identity. How exactly is it built? I also want you through that process to help you understand how to create an identity that is in harmony with the truth about you. Truth and facts are different. Truth and facts are different. So design a life based on the truth about you, not the facts of your life. I'll talk to you more about that. I'll help you articulate an identity and develop I am statements as a first step to designing your fulfilling life. Develop an identity that is consistent with who you are, with what you want. That is the role that you want. And once you develop that identity and you build it with mastery, you can literally hand it over to that part of you that governs everything that you do. If you drive like me, I don't think you wake up every morning and you have to look at the pedals. No, sometimes I'm driving 4 kilometers and I'm not even looking at controls. I have handed over the driving mastery to a part of me. I don't think about how I'm brushing my teeth. I don't think about how I'm chewing. I'm on this call. I'm not thinking about blinking. I'm not thinking about, making sure my tongue has enough saliva. I'm not thinking about these things. I have handed over these responsibilities to that part of me. And so once you understand your identity, because it's controlled by this part of you, you can drive. It can take you where you want to go. Just plot a future, plot a destination. And the same way you get into your car and you start having conversation, or you're talking on the phone and you can't even remember the number of traffic, lights that you have passed and how many bumps. This part of you knows how to slow down when there's a bump. It doesn't just go, oh, there's a bump. Even unless when you didn't see the bump, you didn't give it that. What am I saying? Build the competencies to steer your life. See this. Most people go through life without interrogating their sense of self-identity, their sense of who am I and who is the me that is creating the life that I have. Most people operate based on an identity that they picked up somewhere or that was just placed on them by other people, and they never interrogate. And that is a tragedy. And I don't want you to be in that place. Join me and let us understand how to interrogate the identity that you have, so that then you can create what you want, so that you can go for what it is that you want and do what it is that matters to you. Click the link in the bio and I will send you details about how to join the mentorship call. I can't wait to see you there. I want you to understand this unappreciated force of life, the power of identity, and how to harness it. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I'll see you on the call. Blessings, be well. Bye for now.